What happens to Toby Flinn when 9/11 happens?
So, at this time, I was still discerning what I'm going to do with my life. I was looking at grad school, was looking at law school, a lot of those things people go through still. So, although
Not
I had taken
married,
my trip,
not
huh?
married, no kids at
No
the
kids. So I'll never forget, was listening to the radio when the airplane hit the towers in Dallas, downtown Dallas. And, I went home that night. And my sister's birthday is on September 11th. And so we talked, and she was obviously upset about it. I remember going to the Catholic church close to where I lived, and I went to pray. And I'd certainly ask God, "What do you want me to do? Here I am. What do you want me to do?" Probably angry, like things are going on. I need some direction. And you always want something to come down like a lightning bolt. Well, very rarely does that happen to anybody. But you know, for whatever reason, I decided I'm going to join the Marine Corps. I'm going to do one tour, and if the Marine Corps won't take me, then I'm not going. For some reason, I had that in my mind.
Yeah. So you're working, you got a good job, and now all of a sudden you're going to make a massive change. Getting in the Marine Corps after 9/11 is basically a virtual guarantee that you're going to combat, right?
Yeah,
Right? I
yeah.
mean, there's almost no doubt about it at this point. Like I'll just ask you, like when you joined the Marines, was your expectation that you would end up in combat?
Yes, it was my expectation. I would have been, and some were. I would have been sorely disappointed if I had not.
Yeah. And this is something that for people that have not served in the military, some people, I think it's hard for us to appreciate that feeling. Like most people do not want to run into a combat zone. Like that's the last thing they want to do. And especially when they're comfortable in the United States
Yeah,
and they're a little bit older and they don't have to do it because there are younger kids that are already doing it for us. So
yeah,
what was it about? I mean, because it just sounds a little bit, frankly, nuts to
yeah,
want
yeah.
to go and fight people. So where did where did that come from?
I think you could trace it back to when I kind of traveled around the United States, Brian. I broke free, right? So I left the domesticity, and so I think that trip away kind of it allowed me to say, this isn't that crazy,
Yeah.
like this is going out into the wilderness again. But now, instead of being, you know, kind of slowly being pulled out to go see the United States and travel, I felt like I was being called.
Yeah. So walk us through. I mean, is it officer candidate school first? Is it
It is. It is. Well, you and I were in the Corps Cadets, and I, joining the military was probably out of 100, pretty close to 100 when I got out of the Corps Cadets.
yeah,
Don't come from a family of military, so even the Corps Cadets was pretty foreign to me. Um, and so it wasn't on my list, and so I didn't even know where to go. But I did find the OSO, so basically an officer who kind of selects officers in the city, and you sign some paperwork, and they give you a physical fitness test, and before you know it, then you have to take some tests and drug tests and all of that stuff, and then before you know it, you get a letter says you've been accepted, and then you go, oh my goodness, I actually did this.
yeah,
So I was in the first OCS class post 9/11. On January 18th, I was in Quantico, Virginia, with somebody yelling at me, getting my trunk full of Q-tips and white underwear and throwing them all over the parade deck. So, do the math. It's a very short fuse.
yeah. Very short, very short.